Welcome back to the Anxious for Nothing podcast. I'm Cece, and today we're starting something new, season 3. And if you've been listening through the last season, you know that we ended with an episode called The Power of Certainty. We walked through what it means to walk through life uh, with a sense of grounded confidence, even when everything around you is unfolding. So that's what we talked through and talked about. But today I want to take that conversation one step further because we know that certainty is powerful, right? But certainty is meant to move you. Certainty is meant to change how you show up. It changes how you think, how you make decisions, how you walk into rooms, how you handle the unknown parts of life. So today's episode is about something I've been thinking about a lot lately. And this is pretty much the idea. Moving like the life you want is already forming. Not waiting, not hesitating, not needing constant proof, but moving more so with intention. And so let's talk about how life rarely even feels finished because it's a journey, right? One of the most interesting things about growth is that it almost never feels complete while you're in it. You're learning something, you're building something, working through something, but at the same time, adjusting your mindset, shifting your habits. And because of that, life can sometimes feel like you're constantly in the middle of a process. It's like you reach one level of growth and then another layer opens, another opportunity, another challenge, another lesson. And that can feel uncomfortable sometimes, to say the least, because many of us were taught to believe that confidence only comes after everything is stable, after the results arrive, after the goals are achieved. But real confidence doesn't wait for the final result. Real confidence grows while you're building. And so that's where I kind of got the title. Becoming happens quietly. And one thing I've noticed about people who are growing into strong versions of themselves is that a lot of their transformation happens quietly. It doesn't always look dramatic from the outside. Yeah, we have social media and we see a lot of people's highlight reels, all of the dramatic parts of their lives, but sometimes it looks like small decisions. Choosing patience, choosing focus, choosing growth instead of distraction, right? And choosing to stay committed to something meaningful, even when progress feels slow. And so these quiet decisions begin shaping the whole direction of your life. And over time, something powerful happens. You begin trusting your own process. And so this is what we would call in this segment moving with intention. Hi, Kari. And when someone begins moving like their future is forming, their actions start becoming intentional. They begin asking different questions like, what habits support the life I want? What environments actually help me grow? What kind of energy do I want to bring into my day? Right? That's what you literally start asking yourself those things. And so these questions shift your mindset because instead of reacting to life, you begin to participate in it and become more present. And you become aware that your daily choices carry weight. And every day is an opportunity to move slightly closer to the version of yourself you're becoming. And so progress is built through consistency. There's something powerful about consistency. It builds confidence, it builds skill, it builds belief. And when you show up repeatedly for something that matters to you, you literally begin to see yourself differently. You start to realize that progress isn't about huge leaps every single day. It's about steady steps and about improving your thinking, strengthening your discipline, and it's about continuing forward even when things are still evolving. And those steady steps, eventually, they do build momentum. They do. And that's where you want to get to. That's that sweet spot. And then you get into this identity shift. And one of the biggest changes that happens during personal growth is an identity shift. You start seeing yourself differently. You stop thinking of yourself as only someone who is figuring things out. And then you begin seeing yourself as someone who is building something meaningful. And this shift is very powerful because once you begin identifying with growth, then you stop waiting for permission to move forward. You become way more comfortable taking initiative in your own life. And so this is the season of becoming. This is the season of becoming for me. And it might be the season of becoming for you as well, to my listeners. There are seasons in life where everything feels very clear. And then there are seasons where you are still discovering new parts of yourself. But every season holds value. And the key is really learning how to remain steady through each phase, because growth isn't about rushing through the process. And a lot of times I catch myself because sometimes I just want to get to the finish line. And I'm like, I just want to arrive. But it's about allowing each stage to develop your strength, your perspective, your resilience. And then when you begin appreciating the process of becoming, life starts to feel more purposeful. It really does. And so, a closing reflection on today's episode as we begin season 3 of the Anxious for Nothing podcast. I want this season to be about growth that feels intentional. Hi, Adrian. Growth that feels empowering. We want growth that reminds you that your story is still being written. You guys, you're allowed to build your life step by step. You are allowed to grow at your own pace, guys. And you are also allowed to move forward with confidence. While it looks like the future is never ending, it's gonna continue unfolding even when you feel like you've arrived somewhere. Because one thing is always true. Every single step that you take with intention creates momentum, no matter what it looks like around you. Okay? Remember that. Take one step at a time. Okay? Do y'all know that Jordan Sparks song? One step at a time is no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. Every step you take with intention literally creates momentum. So don't forget that. Thank you guys for starting season 3 with me here on the Anxious for Nothing podcast. And if this episode encouraged you, just take a moment to reflect on one thing in your life that you want to keep building. Then take one small step toward it this week, just one small step. And I appreciate you guys for being a part of this journey. And I'll see you guys next week in the next episode. Y'all have a blessed week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care, guys.